Black Hammer, writer is Jeff Lemire, art by Dean Ormston, colors by Dave Stewart, letterer is Todd Klein, released April 11th, 2017, published by Dark Horse Comics. When it comes to the re-visualization, recontextualization, re-whatever of the superheroes, the usual route that Americans go to is the grim and the dark, from Batman, The Dark Knight Returns, the Marvel Ultimates, The Boys, and Jupiter's Ascending. All pretty dark, and Black Hammer is no different. But yet it is. It is still engaging and doesn't feel tired out or repetitive. Let's discuss why. Before we get started, do the YouTube algorithm, feed it, do the like, subscribe, and share and whatnot, and comment, and here we go. This is a highly stylized colored comic that switches back and forth from the golden era of comics to a more modern day horror aesthetic. The transitions between the two styles is done well and keeps you engaged, so I really enjoyed it. And even then, with that golden era being slightly more bright, there is always this dreary wash that covers the page that gives you a sense of unease, to show you that even back then, things weren't perfect. Star Plus, the art is layered, very much like the story. Square panels and rectangles, yes, big ding, usually, but that being said, this was done in a way that only a veteran of a comic medium can do. This is one of those old school style of paneling, and there is a lot of story to go through. It was almost as if they're trying to maximize the amount of real estate that they have on the paper, and it really helps set the mood. I'm giving it a star only because I personally don't like square panels and rectangles throughout the whole thing. Like I said, that is a personal thing. That being said, this was done very well. If it had a little bit more play, I would love it, but I think it would have messed with the story flow. So, technicality. On a technicality, it is a star. Usually with American comics, you get exposition galore. This one didn't have that. And if it did, it didn't feel like it. It was almost cinematic. We have multiple different characters with distinct dialogues and characterizations, almost as if we were seeing multiple iterations of depression. All these characters are depressed in some fashion, but none of them are expressing it the same way. And in this setting where a different kind of hopelessness is presented, it works out great. Kind of a odd thing. Star Plus, lots of depth, and appropriate dialogue for characterization. Theme and execution. As mentioned in the previous category, there are themes of depression, but also guilt, of want, hope, and everything that comes with facing a hopeless situation. But unlike your typical grimdark, where the problem is usually solved by punching someone, this doesn't appear to be the solution at all, and that makes it fertile ground for exploration of expression. It is something that you don't see too much in the superhero genre. You would probably see this tone and themes more within, like, The Walking Dead. But with a good writer and artist, it is clear that these themes can be explored within the superhero genre as well, and not in the, Alan Moore, Watchmen style. I'm giving this a star plus because it is not your typical, but gives you a lot of questions with deep pondering kind of comic. The plot is slow, and that is a good thing. It takes its time with the plot, probably something that can only be allowed within an independent comic book company, so we get that build. There's also that feeling of something is afoot here, but it's not quite a mystery. This is a dark slice of life where a group of heroes who, in order to prevent the destruction of their own universe, is sent to a universe where the heroic stuff doesn't exist. Like, back in their old universe, and they have no way to get back. So with this kind of story, you have to take it slow. And then we see the agony of all this within the characters. I am giving this a star plus because this is a ground not often trodden, but that makes it rife with exploration. 5 stars, 4 pluses. So I highly recommend this. This hefty Comixology Unlimited book, not sponsored by the way, is worth your time if you like superheroes, if you like the dark and the grim, and something that's not typical of both. It's deep like an Alan Moore comic, but takes its time to ponder the question before, you know, it tries to answer it. And it takes this bit seriously, maybe a little bit too seriously for some people, but that's what makes it great. It is deep, it is layered, the art is stylized, it speaks of personality, something I find not too often in reading comics in the, US published sphere. It is in a genre crowded by the mainstream, such as The Boys and whatnot. This stands out. There is a level of emotional maturity that I find here that you don't see in the big two. A character-driven story set in a small town that embraces the slow pace you would see and expect. Much too often you see the other comics simply jump the cosmic shark to a world-ending big bad event, but not here. Everything here is personal, and there is a personal emotional cost that is being chipped at, and we see what happens with all of that. I enjoyed one of the standout characters here. I think of Golden Gale, an obvious Captain Marvel, now known as Shazam, even though he had the name Captain Marvel before, Carol Danvers' Captain Marvel stand-in. Something you don't see that often. Usually the obvious superhero stand-in you would see is Superman, bad Superman. But now we have a Captain Marvel stand-in, which is great. The emotional ride of having that kind of superpower and the ups and downs, as it's great to help people, but we also see the hidden costs to it. And it's portrayed in a way that is respectable and relatable. The empathy that one can gain from this book is something I feel that highlights the strength of this series. Now, with each volume costing somewhere between $8.99 to $14.99, with around 180-ish pages, and a lot of it being part of the unlimited line of Comixology, once again, not sponsored, it would be well worth your time in reading. Thank you again for watching this video. I hope you are enjoying the content and the reviews. I hope you're having a good day or good evening. Don't forget to feed the algorithm, and ciao, everybody.